Hey, what's going on, guys? Mackenzie Long here. So Marlene and I just got back from our 1-month wedding and honeymoon in the Dominican Republic. And we went on one of our favorite excursions, which is what we're going to be talking about today, the Zipline and the Monkeys in Sosua. So if you're planning on heading to the Dominican Republic and you're going to be in the Puerto Plata or the Sosua area and you're thinking about maybe doing the zip lines, this video is for you. And if you don't know Marlene or myself, my name is Mackenzie Long, and we have been in the financial industry for over 9 years now, and we teach people how money works. It's something that's not taught in schools, which means most people are financially illiterate, meaning they make lots of mistakes when it comes to money, and they're oftentimes being taken advantage of. The lack of financial literacy in our society is a huge problem, and obviously when you're solving big problems, there's lots of opportunity and lots of money to be made. And one of the biggest things, the reason why we took such a long trip for our honeymoon and our wedding, was because most of the people that we've coached and we counseled, now that we've recruited hundreds of agents and have thousands of clients and students, and a large majority of people that we've worked with never really got a chance to take a honeymoon, or they wish they had traveled more. So taking some of their advice, we decided to spend that time in the Dominican Republic. And one of the excursions that we did was the ziplining and the monkeys in Sosua. Now, if you're staying in or near Puerto Plata, there are actually two different options you can do as far as ziplining. There might be more by the time that you watch this video. One of them is going to be over with the waterfalls. If you're looking at maybe doing the 27 waterfalls, they also have a zip line over there, but at least from what we heard, and we didn't do both, so I can't really compare the two, but what we heard was the one that was in Sosua was actually better, and it also included monkeys. So from the advice from the tour guides and people who had gone there, we decided to do the one in Sosua instead. Now, if you're thinking about doing the waterfalls, the 27 waterfalls, I have another video about that if you would like to learn more. That one is actually over in Puerto Plata, but that was a great option as well. You will love that one too. But today, into talking about the ziplining and the monkeys in Sosua, if you can smash that like button, that is a huge help. I would really appreciate it. And the reason, again, why we decided to do this one over the one in Puerto Plata, because I will give you a heads up, the one in Puerto Plata is less expensive, especially if you're already planning on going and doing the waterfall. You can do them in the same day. But we decided to do this one mostly because of the monkeys and because we heard it was a little bit better, and we absolutely loved it. So there are 7 or 8 zip lines on this particular route, and there's also a surprise. And the surprise is our absolutely favorite part. So spoiler alert coming up, and I will let you know when the spoiler is actually here. If you want to be surprised when you get there, you can skip that last part of the video, but I will warn you again before we get there. So the first thing they're going to do is walk you over to get geared up, and obviously you've got to put your harness on so you can go ziplining. If you've never done it before, it is very safe. You feel very safe when you're in the harness. Guys, you're going to be a little bit uncomfortable because it does run through the legs and you're holding your body weight from there, so it can be a little bit uncomfortable, but you're not doing it for a long enough period of time that it's really going to bother you. But you've got to put your headgear on, you've got to put your harness on, obviously. That takes only a couple minutes to be able to do, depending on the side of your group. And then you're going to walk right over to the first zip line. It's not that far from where you originally start. So one of the key notes about this particular zip line is that there's not a lot of walking to do. So if you're not inclined to do a lot of walking, whether it's because of health reasons or maybe physical reasons, this is still a great thing to be able to go do, and it is a ton of fun. Now, each one of the zip lines does vary in size, and it's a little bit hard to tell for some of these videos, but you can watch Marlene sliding or going down the zip line, and they do range in speed as well. And one of the most important things is make sure you're listening to your instructors. They're going to give you a pretty good idea on how fast or slow they are, and your ability to pay attention and follow directions makes a big difference in your experience, because some of them are a lot slower, and if you're braking too much, you're gonna get stuck in the middle. That doesn't usually happen. Or if it's really fast and you don't brake, I think they actually even have one of the zip lines named after somebody who might have hurt himself. So anyway, make sure you're paying attention to directions. You might not want to go if you're highly intoxicated. Might not be a good day to do ziplining. Make sure you're a little bit more conscious if that's something you're planning on doing. And some of them were fairly fast, so you're definitely going to want to be paying attention to that. And some of them are fairly long as well. They have pretty good poles depending on where you've done ziplining in the world. They are not the longest ones I've ever done, but they're not the shortest ones either. They're kind of in that middle length, and the view is pretty decent. It's not not something great where you're overseeing the cliff and the ocean and that kind of stuff, but it is overall pretty beautiful, and I think you'll be happy with your experience. So now come to the surprise, and this is your spoiler alert, so you might want to skip the next 30 or 45, maybe a minute here if you don't want to know about the surprise. So the surprise is at the end of all the zip lines. So you do your 7 or 8 zip lining, you get over towards the end, and you kind of walk up to this platform, and you know you're getting there because you're going to be walking across this bridge, which is the only place that you do that. And then you go to this platform, and all of a sudden you have your harness on. And you can kind of see from this video, I'm going to start that so you can watch Marlene go. I'm actually down in the bottom. So you're going to put this, you're going to attach it to your harness, and basically you jump off the platform, and you're going to fall 30, 40, maybe 50 feet from the platform to where the level ground would be, and then another 30 or 40 feet into this actual pit. And you can see in this video, Marlene is standing up at the top, and then she's going to jump off of that platform and work her way down. Now, it's not just a free fall, because obviously you would get hurt if you were doing that. There is actually a cable that the further down you get from the platform, the more it slows you down. So for me, I have to admit, Marlene was giving me quite a bit of a hard time because you really, at least the time of day that we went, you could not see down in the hole. So there was really no way to know how long or how deep the hole was that you were going to be jumping into, let alone having confidence that the equipment was going to stop you. Now, of course it did, so it took me a little bit of time, which was interesting because we had just gone to the waterfalls a couple days before that, and I'm jumping off the waterfalls. You can go watch that video of me jumping off some of the waterfalls. No problems whatsoever because I could see what I was jumping into, but with this, a little freaked out. So I was kind of deciding if I was going to do it at all. I was debating how I could get out of this, and obviously that's not something that I was going to do or would actually do. So I did get up the confidence to actually jump in. So the video that you were just watching, or that we're watching now, is Marlene falling into that hole.
Ay, no me gusta. Oh my God.
And it was absolutely a ton of fun. So if you know Spanish, you can hear Marlene saying no me gusta. No, it means that she didn't like it. She actually did like it. Obviously, it's just a little bit scary. And when we were climbing out, and actually the talk of the trip, this was one of our most favorite things that we did while we were out there. It was absolutely a ton of fun, and you're definitely going to want to make sure you do the surprise. And just so you know, they will let you get down without doing the surprise, but I highly recommend doing it. It is absolutely the best part of the entire thing. It is a pleasant surprise, and you will enjoy it. And after you finish that up, you have the option to go over and be with the monkeys. Now, a little bit of history or background: the monkeys are not actually native to the Dominican Republic, and they don't actually have monkeys of this type, or really monkeys at all. So the area that you're going to is more of a camp for them, and so people have brought them over illegally, and they had gotten loose, and they basically needed to figure out a way to take care of these monkeys. And so what they've done is they've taken them into this particular area, and the smaller ones that you can see that are climbing all over us, they love sesame seeds, and so that's basically what he's putting on us, and they're jumping all over the place. And they were very nice. They were not very aggressive. They weren't trying to steal your stuff like some of the other monkeys are that we'll talk about in a little bit. And they were just overall pleasant. Now, they do tell you not to actually pet the monkeys. They don't like to be pet. They're wild animals, so make sure you don't do that. But they're actually not in an enclosed area. There is a gate around it because they don't want people necessarily going in there. And they said sometimes the monkeys escape, but for the most part, because they know where the food is, they come back to that spot, so they don't actually have to keep them caged. And now, as you walk down the walkway, you'll go into this area where there's another bigger cage, and in those cages is more of the monkeys that you would be familiar with, the ones that you've seen in movies. If you've watched Night at the Museum, that type of monkey is going to be down there, or maybe Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. That's the type of monkeys that they have down there. Now, these monkeys are much more aggressive. That's why they have them in the cages. They're very territorial. You'll see them grabbing at the other monkeys and fighting over food. These ones will steal your phone and your stuff if you get it too close to the cage. So definitely great that during this experience those are away from where you're going to be. The other monkeys are free to run around, and you'll be giving them food the whole time. And it's a ton of fun. You'll learn a lot about them and the things they do, and they're very cute. They do all kinds of silly stuff in front of you. So it's definitely very enjoyable. And you'll see that the other monkeys are set up in different cages because they are so aggressive, and they'll have a male that's very dominant and he'll drive off the other males. So they've had to create other cages to keep them separate. But the overall experience was a ton of fun. I think you'll really enjoy it. It was definitely worth a couple extra bucks to be able to go in there and do the monkeys as well. So this has been a little bit of an overview to help give you a pretty good understanding of the monkeys and the zip lining in Sosua. So if you're thinking about doing that. Now, if you're a little bit more adventurous and you don't mind walking and you want to do a little bit of hiking, make sure you check out the video for the waterfalls as well. That was a ton of fun. And maybe walking's not your thing, but you also don't have the adrenaline that you want to maybe go do the zip lining. And maybe you just want to do some hanging out and relaxing. Well, then what you'll want to do is Punta Ruzia, and that's actually Paradise Island. It is kind of a ways away, but I have another video about that one as well. So definitely go check those out if you're going to be in the Dominican Republic, especially in the Puerto Plata and Sosua area. You will love all three of those excursions, depending on what you like to do. And I hope this was helpful for you. Please make sure you hit that like button, comment if you have any questions that I can help with, definitely let me know. And then also make sure you hit the subscribe button too. And I'll catch you guys later. Bye.